Is Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondek going to investigate or bury the Calgary water main disaster's root causes? With Calgary residents set to endure weeks, if not months, of water restrictions due to ever more damage being discovered in one of the city's main water mains, even though we were advised of regular inspections and maintenance, is Calgary Mayor Jyoti Gondek going to undertake a fully transparent investigation or bury the root causes of this administrative disaster for political reasons? Although my hope is that we might have a fully transparent and accountable investigation, the fear is that the city government will deploy subtle maneuvers to hide and delay the release of information from the public in the interest of protecting perceived political interests. As such, I thought it might be advantageous to make some suggestions to our local government with respect to how any investigation should be conducted, such that our mayor and our council can show an adequate degree of transparency and commitment to timely disclosure. 1. The process cannot be structured to produce a final report at some later date. Instead, the investigation needs to begin immediately, with the particulars of that investigation being publicly outlined by the mayor and her council. 2. The investigation needs to be publicized in real time on the city's website, such that all pertinent information and documents need to be put online as they are identified. These are public documents, and there should be no delay in making them available as they are determined to have some relevance to the investigation. 3. The city should not be selective in its disclosure, but instead making all information and documentation that could be viewed as relevant to the investigators also available to the public, with appropriate notations as to the specifics of the information and documents, and appropriate indexing for referencing and identification. 4. The city needs to allow the public to provide their analysis of what the information and documentation to the investigative team and publish that public discussion on the city website, such that the investigative team can be held to account where they choose to overlook legitimate concerns. 5. The city needs to establish a set schedule for releasing interim reports in advance of the final report. Otherwise, this process may well be unnecessarily delayed and perceived as protecting political interests. Why is this important? Just touching on two aspects of the importance. A, it holds the investigation more accountable. If outside parties are able to review the same information and documents as the city's investigative team, that investigative team will recognize the greater scrutiny that they are under, such that they should be less likely to take shortcuts or avoid certain areas of investigation for political reasons. B, it should allow for the legal insulation of whistleblowers if there is an attempt to hide or otherwise bury key documents, which I would hope will not be the case. However, this needs to be protected against, and if key documents are purposely not made available to the public, this is of serious concern. With the advance of technology to make documents more easily accessible to the public, especially where those documents are of public significance and impact, governments need to be moving towards ever greater transparency and accessibility. Simply issuing a final report at a later date is not sufficient, especially in an era where accessibility is possible, and the failure to publicly share everything appropriate early on is in fact a means to burying the truth and remaining unaccountable, and cannot be our expectation of government. Governments need to be transparent and accountable, and they cannot be held to a standard that was constrained by the technological limitations of the past. Instead, they should be striving to be ever more transparent and accountable, using the constant advances in technology and public demand to improve the outputs ever more. Thank you.